28 years. It's taken England 28 long years to win a test series in India. Alistair Cook and his men arrived in India with no one giving them a chance of winning a test match, let alone the series. But they have braved the odds, fought the conditions, and have emerged victorious. Yes, India did not play to potential, but take nothing away from this England team who have done everything right to win a test series right here in India. Jaideep Vaidya joins me in the studio, and today we will review the performances of all the departments of both the sides in this test series. Let us start with the Indian batting, something that has disappointed one and all, those who were considered tigers at home but failed to produce the runs when it mattered. So, apart from the exception of, say, Cheteshwar Pujara, the others weren't consistent enough.
That's true, and I've got some stats here, and if you see the top 5 batsmen of the series, it's got only Cheteshwar Pujara up there among 4 English batsmen and Alistair Cook, who scored 562 runs, and obviously he was the man of the series. And you've got Kevin Pietersen, Jonathan Trott because of his performance in Nagpur, and Matt Pryor, who's a wicketkeeper. And Cheteshwar Pujara is a lone Indian in the top 5 batsmen of the series, so that just speaks about how poor the Indian batting has been.
Cheteshwar Pujara's runs mainly concentrate in the first 3 innings of the series, and that does reflect on the Indian performance. They dominated at Ahmedabad, had a chance at Mumbai, but then just fell apart in the next 2 test matches.
They had a chance in Mumbai, but they messed it up. I mean, if you see the difference between the 2 teams, then England had that performer in every sticky situation that they got themselves into. I mean, they had an Alistair Cook even in Ahmedabad, which they lost, but he was the silver lining for them. In Mumbai, they had Cook and Pietersen, and obviously Monty Panesar when it came to the bowling. In Kolkata, it was a team effort, and Cook shined again and missed out on a double century by 4 runs. And again, in England, they were a bit, India had them under pressure, but they had Jonathan Trott and then Ian Bell in the second innings to take them through. Whereas India, I mean, apart from Cheteshwar Pujara or Pragyan Oja or perhaps even MS Dhoni in the last 2 test matches, they didn't have someone who can, buoy them out of that ditch. And that's what the difference was.
Yeah, and you take Cheteshwar Pujara's runs out of the equation and the others haven't got enough. Virat Kohli did score a century at Nagpur. As you said, Mahendra Singh Dhoni got the 50 at Kolkata and followed it up with the innings of 99 at Nagpur. So, as you can see, it's mainly Pujara who has the big runs. Tendulkar,
just the one innings.
Yes, just the one innings. Yuvraj, the flashy innings at Ahmedabad, then those starts and he would get out. Then again, you had a Sehwag.
Sehwag, I mean, he was obviously good in the first match and in one of his favourite grounds, but after that, nothing. So there was
absolutely, and he did get those starts. If you look at the second innings at Kolkata, for even for that matter, the first one, he did get those starts, and one felt that Sehwag had it in him to take India ahead.
Sehwag, yeah, he just didn't show the patience to stick it out, and I mean that's how he plays. But I think he should have showed a bit more responsibility when it comes to his role because he's a senior player.
And yes, ultimately he lives by the sword and he dies by the sword. That's how it is. Now we come to Gautam Gambhir. There's been a lot of talk about him not getting a century in the last 3 years, almost 3 years rather, and yet again he gets those starts and he gets out 60s, 40s, 30s. He just doesn't seem to carry on to make a big one. And that is hurting Team India. He needs to get hundreds because when India rose to the number 1 spot, it was Gautam Gambhir who was their best player. He won the ICC Test Player of the Year in 2009 because of his efforts.
Gautam Gambhir, yeah, he did get a couple of 50s, but I just got the feeling that he played for himself rather than the team. I mean, he was coming from a lean...
So, you actually think that he played for himself?
Yes, he did, because if you see that innings in Mumbai, in the second innings, it was a batting collapse and Gautam Gambhir was the only one who was batting with the tail. And the 5th morning, or was it the 4th morning, the last day of the test, the 4th morning, when he was batting with Pragyan Oja and Zahir Khan, I mean, he was giving them the strike, and that's not how you play with the tail. And he just tapped the ball around and took a single. And whereas someone like Dhoni, who played really well with the tail in the 3rd test match, he showed, I mean, that's how you play with the tail.
But then don't you think that when a person is not in form, then you are thinking about survival, and perhaps that is the instinct that
You are
took
thinking
over
about
Gambhir's
survival,
sets.
but then your team is in a collapse and you need to put up some runs on the board, and that just not, I mean, you cannot just give the strike away and think of yourself. You have to think for the team.
And ultimately, Gambhir has to translate these performances into bigger knocks because it's been a while since he's got that 100, and it's time that he does. Because India is traveling to South Africa later next year, and before that, they really need their openers in form. With Sehwag being a little inconsistent, one can say that Gambhir has become even more crucial, and India wouldn't exactly want to disturb their order at the top, considering the retirements of Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman, and the fact that Sachin Tendulkar also may call it a day anytime soon.
Sehwag and Gambhir, they are the more experienced people, I mean, apart from Sachin Tendulkar in that batting lineup. So they have to show the extra bit of responsibility, and that's just not what they did in these 4 test matches.
So yes, I mean the worries of the Indian batting continue into the home series, and it was quite surprising considering the fact that they've always dominated here. Yes, they did collapse in England and Australia, but at home they've always been dominant. They've always been comfortable, and that's something that we've not seen this time around.
Do you think it was a bit of complacency coming into the side that we are playing at home and we're a good side at home? So I mean, I just felt that there was that complacent attitude in the Indian team.
Perhaps they were caught off guard. In the second test match at Mumbai, that was the big psychological turning point. In the first innings, they fought hard. They fought really hard. Like Cheteshwar Pujara, he got 130 odd, and he faced over 300 deliveries.
Yeah.
Then when England came on to bat, they had someone like Peterson who just smashed the bowling everywhere.
Yeah.
And that, in a sense, told you that you could get runs on this wicket. But when India came on to bat, then there was a collapse. So that was a psychological turning point.
It was, and it was down to the magic of Monty.
Yes, definitely. So India have lots to think about. Australia are coming over in February, March. They would want to get their batting sorted out right so that by the time the Aussies arrive, they are up for the challenge.